Hey, anointed ones. The devil pulled the greatest trick ever by making everyone think he didn't exist. But here's the thing, you didn't just recognize their existence. You obliterated 97% of them. While the rest of the world remains blind to the invisible war raging around them, you, the chosen one, walked straight into the battlefield and emerged victorious. Did you know that most people spend 85% of their energy fighting battles they don't even realize they're losing? Emotional manipulation, spiritual attacks, mental chaos, these aren't random. They're carefully designed. You're a survivor, that's for sure. You've got a lot of skills, and you've used them to outsmart the people who want to take advantage of you. You've got a 97% success rate, and you've done it in a way that they never saw coming. So, how did you do it? Well, let's find out. Get ready, because this is about more than just what you overcame. It's about becoming the ultimate nemesis, the one they fear the most. Let's be real, if demons had therapy sessions, you'd be the reason they can't stop complaining to their counselors that we tried everything, boss, but they just kept winning. You've mastered the art of self-control. Control is one of the most underestimated powers, yet it's the exact reason you've defeated 97% of the demons that came for you. Demons don't need to physically attack, they manipulate through chaos, provoking your emotions and reactions to throw you off balance. Their game is simple: pull your strings, make you act out of impulse, and then sit back and watch you destroy yourself. But with you, they hit a wall. You've mastered the ability to pause, assess, and act with intention, not reaction. This is a rare skill, and it terrifies those dark forces because it takes away their leverage. You can't let your anger, fear, or impulsive decisions control you. When they expected you to lash out, you stayed calm. When they wanted you to crumble, you stood tall. Every time you chose peace over chaos, you took away their power over you. Here's the truth: most people lose because they let their emotions run wild. They scream, they argue, they panic, and demons thrive on that energy. But you've turned your emotions into tools, not weapons against yourself. You've got control over your inner world, so external forces can't penetrate. And let's be real, your self-control doesn't just keep the bad guys at bay, it confuses them completely. They'll throw everything they've got at you, expecting you to lose it, but you stay calm. That's not just strength, it's a form of mastery that only a chosen few can embody. Control isn't passive, it's active warfare. It's your refusal to play their game and give them the chaos they need to survive. This isn't just discipline, it's dominance, and it's why 97% of them couldn't stand against you. Number 2, you embrace solitude, which terrifies the dark forces. Solitude is your secret weapon. It's why 97% of demons couldn't handle you. You also embrace solitude, which is your secret weapon. It's why you defeated 97% of demons. Most people run from being alone because it forces them to face themselves, their fears, weaknesses, and unresolved emotions. But not you. You embraced solitude, turning isolation into your greatest source of strength. Demons thrive on distraction. They need noise, chaos, and external validation to manipulate people into staying weak and dependent. Solitude disrupts their plans because it creates space for clarity and connection to your higher self. In the quiet, you saw through their lies. You recognized the subtle ways they tried to influence you through negative thoughts, toxic relationships, and manipulative environments, and you shut it all down. Your time alone wasn't wasted, it was transformative. While others wasted energy avoiding their inner battles, you fought and won yours in private. This scared the demons because solitude made you you're all set. You stopped needing other people's approval, emotional validation, or material distractions to feel whole. They couldn't get a hold of you anymore because their usual tactics had no effect on someone who had already mastered themselves. What's even more powerful is how solitude sharpened your intuition. Without the noise of the world clouding your mind, you tuned into divine wisdom and guidance. This made you unpredictable, a complete enigma to the forces trying to take you down. They couldn't anticipate your moves because your strength came from a place they couldn't reach. While others fear being alone, you turned it into your sanctuary, your battlefield, and ultimately, your victory. It's not that solitude makes you stronger. It reveals you've got some serious divine wisdom and guidance going on. It's made you pretty unpredictable, and an enigma to the forces trying to bring you down. They can't predict your moves because your strength comes from a place they can't reach. While others are scared of being alone, you turned it into your sanctuary, your battlefield, and ultimately your victory. It's not that solitude makes you stronger. It reveals the strength that was already there. For demons, that's an opponent they simply can't handle. Number 3, your energy frequency is untouchable. Your energy frequency is what sets you apart, and it's a big reason why 97% of demons couldn't touch you. Energy isn't just some abstract concept. It's the core of who you are. Everything you do, think, and feel radiates energy. You've raised your energy to a level that demons can't even approach. They're repelled by it. It's almost like moths trying to fly into a flame. Dark forces operate at low frequencies: fear, anger, envy, and doubt. They survive by dragging people down into those same vibrations, feeding off the negativity they create, but you didn't fall for it. Instead, you elevated yourself through self. You've raised your vibration to a level that demons can't even approach. They're repelled by it. It's like moths trying to fly into a flame. Dark forces operate at low frequencies: fear, anger, envy, and doubt. They survive by dragging people down into those same vibrations, feeding off the negativity they create. But you didn't fall for it. Instead, you elevated yourself through self-awareness, spiritual discipline, and relentless personal growth. Every time you chose love over hate, peace over chaos, and faith over fear, you shifted your frequency higher and higher. Here's what makes this so powerful. High vibrations are like a protective shield. It's not just about being positive or calm. It's about being untouchable. When your energy reaches a certain level, anything operating in darkness, they can't stay in your presence. They try to latch on, but your energy burns them out before they can even get close. That it's not magic. It's alignment. The best part: this wasn't accidental. You worked for this. You chose to let go of toxic habits, negative thoughts, and low vibration people. You chose to feed your spirit with things that uplift and empower you. That intentionality built a frequency. It's not magic, it's alignment. And it's not just luck. You worked for this. You chose to let go of bad habits, negative thoughts, and people who dragged you down. You chose to feed your spirit with things that make you feel good and empower you. That intentionality built a frequency that not only protects you but also scares away anything that doesn't belong in your space. Demons hate elevated energy because it shows them that they're weak. You didn't just defeat them. You outgrew them. They can't reach you anymore because your vibration is too high for them to exist in. That's power, and it's all yours. Number 4, you've mastered silence as a weapon. Silence is one of the. Not only does it protect you, but it also makes them back off if they come at you. Demons can't handle strong energy because it shows they're in trouble. You didn't just defeat them, you outgrew them. They can't reach you because your energy is too high for them to handle. That's power, and it's all yours. 4th, you've got the silent treatment down. Silence is one of the most powerful tools you've learned, and it's a weapon that's destroyed 97% of the demons that came at you. It's not just about not saying anything, it's about being in control. While most people feel like they have to respond to negativity, explain themselves, or get revenge, you've learned to keep your mouth shut. Silence doesn't just stop your enemies in their tracks, it totally destroys their ability to function. Demons, you've got the most powerful tools down, and they've taken out 97% of the demons that have come at you. It's not just about not saying anything. It's about having control. While most people feel like they have to respond to negativity, explain themselves, or get back at their attackers, you've learned to keep your mouth shut. Silence doesn't just stop your enemies from attacking. It also stops them from getting a foothold in your life. But demons thrive on reactions. They feed off your emotional outbursts, arguments, and attempts to defend yourself. These reactions give them fuel and a foothold to dig deeper into your life. But when you choose silence, you deny them the chaos they need to survive. Your refusal to engage makes their attacks into wasted effort. They swing, expecting a fight, and instead hit the void. This kind of silence isn't weakness. It's a strategy, a way of showing them that not every battle is worth fighting, especially when your energy is at stake. Your silence speaks louder than words ever could. It says, "I see what you're trying to do, but I won't play your game." That message is devastating to dark forces because it shows you're in control and they're powerless. Silence also magnifies your presence. When you don't react, people and demons they're forced to deal with their own actions, and they start to unravel, projecting their chaos onto themselves instead of you. It's like a war, but on a psychological level. You've turned silence into a shield and a strike, all at once. By starving negativity of the energy it craves, you've made 97% of your enemies irrelevant. That's not just survival, it's mastery. Silence for you is not you've turned silence into a force field and a weapon. By starving negativity of the energy it craves, you've made 97% of your enemies irrelevant. That's not just survival, it's mastery. Silence for you is not the absence of power, it's the power. Number 5, you destroyed their access to your mind. Your mind is your strongest fortress, and by fortifying it, you've destroyed the demon's access to their most important battlefield. For most people, the mind is where they lose before the fight even begins. Manipulation, fear, and confusion are subtle tools dark forces use to dismantle clarity and plant seeds of self-doubt. But not with you. You've turned your mind into a solid fortress. This didn't happen overnight. You built this resilience by actively questioning what you believed, getting rid of what didn't serve you, and reinforcing what made you stronger. Discernment became your sharpest tool. You don't let just any thought, idea, or influence. You've got a clear filter for what's real and what's not, so it's pretty much impossible to mess with your mind. You used to be influenced by fear, but you figured out it was just an illusion. When fear tried to mess with you, you leaned into faith and truth, cutting through the BS. Through the lies. Confusion. Another weapon they often use, also lost its grip. Where they once sowed doubt, you replaced it with understanding and focus. By mastering your mind, you've not only protected yourself, but also made their efforts futile. Demons can't control someone who refuses to be confused or afraid. They thrive on weakness. And your mental clarity leaves them with no way in. Every time they try to get into your head, you shut the door and lock it behind them. Your mind is no longer a battlefield, it's your domain, ruled by intention and strength. And without access to it, demons have lost the war before it even began. You become mentally unbreakable, and that scares them. Number 6. Your boundaries are inviolable. They're not just guidelines, they're spiritual fortresses that keep you untouchable. While many people crumble under guilt, manipulation, or fear of rejection, you've built walls that protect your energy and peace. These aren't walls of isolation, but intentional barriers that separate what. Your boundaries are non-negotiable. They're not just guidelines, they're your personal fortresses that keep you safe. While others might crumble under guilt, manipulation, or fear of rejection, you've built walls that protect your energy and peace. These aren't walls of isolation, but barriers that separate what serves you from what drains you. And demons. They absolutely despise this. Boundaries are kryptonite to dark forces. They rely on exploiting the lack of them, pushing emotional buttons, invading your space, and guilting you into lowering your defenses. But with you, they hit a dead end. Your boundaries aren't suggestions, they're you've made it clear that no one, no matter how cunning, can get around them without consequences. This isn't just about saying no to others, it's about saying yes to yourself. You won't put up with toxic relationships, situations, or influences that mess with your spiritual vibe. By doing this, you've made a sacred space where negativity can't take hold. The demons who once tried to exploit your empathy now realize there's no way to mess with you. They can't make you overextend yourself or trick you into lowering your guard. What's more, these boundaries reflect your self-protecting your energy isn't selfish, it's essential. Demons feed on people who spread themselves too thin and let their peace be eroded for others' demands. But you're strong because you don't compromise your well-being. You get that protecting your energy isn't selfish, it's essential. Demons feed on people who spread themselves too thin, who let their peace be eroded for other people's demands. But your strength is in your refusal to compromise your well-being for anything or anyone unworthy. When demons approach and encounter your unyielding barriers, they don't just retreat, they flee. They know they can't win against someone who has fortified their life with purpose, clarity, and unshakable boundaries. It's not just protection, it's power, and you wield it flawlessly. Number 7, your authenticity broke their illusions. Your authenticity is like a torch that burned down the web of illusions demons rely on to survive. They thrive on lies and masks, on the false realities they weave to manipulate and control, but you've made the bold choice to live in raw truth, and that decision alone shattered everything they built. You don't just see through their deception, you obliterate it by refusing to play their game. Most people get trapped because they buy into the facades, the false narratives, societal expectations, and emotional manipulation designed to keep them in fear and self. They live in a world of lies and masks, manipulating and controlling people. But you've made the bold choice to live in raw truth, and that shattered everything they built. You don't just see through their deception, you obliterate it by refusing to play their game. Most people get trapped because they buy into the facades, false narratives, societal expectations, and emotional manipulation designed to keep them in fear and self-doubt. But you've rejected all of that. You've stripped away the need for external validation, the temptation to conform, and the pressure to fit into a system that was never built for your truth. Your authenticity isn't just a personal victory, it's a weapon. Demons rely on people staying blind, playing along, and doubting themselves. Your refusal to do any of those things disrupts their entire operation. By living unapologetically as your true self, you force them into the light, where their power crumbles. Lies and illusions. You can't stand when you have to face the truth, and you're the living embodiment of it. Your authenticity also shows their tactics. By standing firm in who you are, you reveal the lies for what they are, cheap tricks that no longer work. You've become immune to their whispers of fear, guilt, or shame because you've accepted every part of yourself, even the parts they wanted you to hide. That terrifies them because they have no leverage, no weakness to exploit. Demons can only thrive where illusions exist, but you've dismantled their foundation. Being authentic isn't just good for you, it's a sword that cuts through deception, leaving them no choice but to retreat. They can't survive where truth reigns, and you've made sure it reigns in you. Number 8, you're not bothered by external validation. Your detachment from it is one of your most liberating strengths, and it's a move that has completely disarmed demons. They rely on ego as their main tool, feeding it with false praise, starving it with rejection, and manipulating it with constant "you don't need anyone's approval." When you stop caring about what other people think and remove your ego from their grasp, you'll see that they're powerless. Most people fall into this trap. They chase after praise, fear, and criticism, and they try to be what others want them to be. In the process, they give away their power. But you've seen through this game. You no longer look to others to tell you your worth because you've found that validation within yourself. You've made peace with who you are, flaws and all, and that self-having confidence makes you rock solid. Demons hate this because it cuts off one of their main ways to mess with you. When you don't care about getting praise, their flattery doesn't work. When you're not afraid to say no, their disapproval doesn't matter. They can't control you with whispers of doubt or temptations of superiority because your self-esteem isn't tied to external forces. What's more, your detachment from external validation allows you to move freely in the world. You make decisions based on what aligns with your purpose and values, not based on how others might perceive you. That independence is dangerous to dark forces because it makes you unpredictable and uncontrollable. By detaching from the need for validation, you've robbed them of their power over you. Demons of one of their sharpest weapons. They can't manipulate someone who doesn't need their approval, and in that freedom, you've rendered their attempts futile. You don't just survive, you thrive entirely on your own terms. Your spiritual armor is unseen but indestructible. It's unlike anything demons have ever encountered. It's unseen, but it's so powerful. They can't even imagine how to break through it. Most people fight in the physical world, reacting to challenges with their minds and emotions. But you've done things differently. You've connected so deeply with your spiritual side that it becomes an impenetrable shield, making attacks useless before they even happen. Most people are spiritually naked in a world full of darkness, but you've cloaked yourself in divine protection. You've built this armor not through force or aggression, but through alignment. It's the result of constant work, tuning your energy to a higher frequency, maintaining clarity in your purpose, and grounding yourself in the truth of who you are. This isn't just. Most people are spiritually naked. They're vulnerable in a world full of darkness. You've protected yourself with a divine shield. You've built this armor not through force or aggression, but through alignment. It's the result of constant work, tuning your energy to a higher frequency, maintaining clarity in your purpose, and grounding yourself in the truth of who you are. This isn't just spiritual awareness, it's divine connection. When you walk through the world, your very presence shifts the energies around you, and demons can't survive in that space. They attempt to strike, they plan coordinated attacks, but every blow they throw at you falls harmlessly away. Your shield reflects their darkness back at them, leaving them with nothing to latch onto. It's not a spiritual awareness, it's your spiritual connection. When you walk through the world, your presence shifts the energies around you, and demons can't survive in that space. They try to strike, but every blow they throw at you falls harmlessly away. Your shield reflects their darkness back at them, leaving them with nothing to latch onto. It's not a matter of fighting, it's a matter of being so aligned with your higher purpose that anything they send toward you is neutralized before it can even take form. This protection is rare. Most people don't know how to wear this armor. They fight in the physical, wrestling with what they can see, hear, and feel. But your battles are fought in the unseen realm, where your spirit reigns supreme. Demons don't know what to do with someone whose power comes not from their will, but from the divine source they're connected to. And because of that, 97% of their attacks fail. You don't need to defend yourself in the traditional sense. Your spiritual alignment is the armor that makes you invincible, and as long as you stand in your truth, no force can breach it. Number 10. You're showing them their true weakness. One of the best wins you can have is by exposing the demon's true nature. When they come at you, they see their own weakness reflected back. You don't have to fight to break them down, your presence just shows them their insecurities and desperation. They attack because they can't stand to see the truth about themselves. They're weak, powerless, and ultimately afraid. Demons are all about deception, manipulating others into doubting their strength and worth. But when they come face to face with you, their illusions shatter. They're confronted with the truth they can't escape. Their tactics, tricks, and falsehoods don't work on someone who stands firmly in their own power and truth. It's like they can't handle seeing someone who isn't affected by their games. The 97% you've defeated couldn't handle seeing their own reflection through you. They couldn't stand to see their own inferiority, stripped of the masks they hide behind. Where they once relied on confusion, fear, and manipulation, they found only clarity, strength, and unwavering confidence in your presence. They saw their own desperation mirrored in your unshakable peace, and it terrified them. This is what makes you so dangerous, not your ability to fight, but your ability to expose their true nature. You don't engage with their false narratives, you simply reflect their weakness, and in doing so, you dismantle their entire foundation. Demons can't survive when the truth is revealed, and that truth is they are nothing but shadows, powerless in the face of someone who knows their worth. Number 11. You've stopped feeding their power with fear. Fear is the fuel that demons run on. It's how they control, manipulate, and drain the life force of those they target. the moment they sense fear, they feed off it, growing stronger and more insidious. But you've completely broken that cycle. You've gone bankrupt in the fear department, refusing to give them the one thing they need to survive. They need fear to thrive, but you've cut them off. You've starved them out by no longer fearing their threats or their presence. Most people unknowingly feed demons with their fear. They react to threats, intimidation, or even the idea of dark forces with anxiety, uncertainty, and hesitation. Demons thrive on this. Every bit of fear you feel gives them power, fuels their schemes, and makes them feel untouchable. But you've seen through the illusion, you've learned that fear is a choice, and you simply refuse to choose it. When they try to intimidate you, when they send waves of fear your way, you don't flinch, you don't react. In fact, you've learned to recognize fear for what it is, a trap designed to keep you powerless. And because you've stopped feeding them with that energy, their influence begins to wither. Without fear, they can't sustain themselves. Their threats become hollow, their manipulations fall flat, and their attempts to control you crumble. What most people don't realize is that fear is a trap designed to keep you powerless. You know how fear is a trap that keeps you powerless? Well, it's also a way for them to keep you in their pocket. But when you realize that fear is their consent, it's like you're saying, "Hey, not today, demon." You've stopped letting them control you. You've refused to let fear run your life, and because of that, they can't keep you in their pocket anymore. They lose their grip, and you're left standing strong, having neutralized their biggest weapon. You've deprived them of their sustenance, and without fear, they have nothing left to stand on. Number 12, you're not just fighting for survival, you're fighting for dominion. While most people are stuck in the survival mode, you're not. They lose their grip, and you take charge. You're not just fighting to survive, you're fighting for dominion. You're not just defending yourself against spiritual attacks, you're taking control and reclaiming what was always meant to be yours. You've realized that the battle isn't about surviving, it's about conquering demons. You've realized that survival isn't the goal, domination is. You've stopped letting the demons dictate the terms. You're not just defending yourself against spiritual attacks. You're taking control, reclaiming what was always meant to be yours. Survival is passive. Dominion is active. You don't wait for things to calm down. You take charge. You shift the energy. You reclaim the spaces. You don't just let them control you. You fight back and take back what's yours. You've learned to move forward with intent, show them who's boss, and make your presence known. This shift in mindset is what has crippled 97% of their ranks. You've stopped letting them dictate the terms. You're not just surviving, you're thriving. You're not retreating, you're advancing. And that's exactly why they can't handle you. You've learned to move forward with intent, assert your power, and make your presence known in ways they can't ignore. This shift in mindset is what has crippled 97% of their ranks. You've stopped letting them dictate the terms of the battle. When they attack, you don't just absorb the blow or try to recover. You turn it around and use it as a launch pad to reclaim more of your personal power, your peace, and your purpose. Every time they try to break you down, you take that energy and repurpose it, reinforcing your dominion over your own life in spiritual space. Demons love confusion and chaos, but when you step into dominion, you're all about order, purpose, and clarity. You're not just existing in their world, you're reshaping it. That shift from survival to dominion is exactly why they can't handle you. You're not in retreat, you're advancing, and that's what has decimated their they can't control you. You've crushed the demons that wanted to destroy you. This shows how strong you are and how much you've grown. This wasn't just about surviving. It was about taking back your power and being in charge of the forces that tried to hold you back. Every move you made was a strategic, every move you made, every boundary you set, every moment you chose to stand in your truth has stripped these forces of their ability to control you. You didn't just push back, you shattered their illusions, rendered their tactics ineffective, and left them powerless. What others fail to realize is that this victory isn't just about defeating. It's about the inner mastery you've achieved by stopping the feeding cycle of fear, refusing to engage with negativity, strengthening your spiritual armor, and embracing your authenticity. You've become untouchable. You've not only survived the storm, you've become the storm. So, as you continue to walk in your truth, remember that you've shattered their illusions, rendered their tactics ineffective, and left them powerless. You've got some serious power, and you know it. You've got the demons of fear and negativity on your back, but you're not letting them get you down. You're strong and authentic, and you're not letting anyone mess with it. You're not just surviving, you're thriving. You're the storm now, and you're making it rain. Remember that the demons who tried to mess with you are just shadows now. They thought they could break you, but they just made you stronger. You've shown that when you stand strong in your purpose and align with your inner strength, there's no force in this world that can stop you. They can't stop you. That's why they're scared of you. You're unstoppable. If you felt the power in every word, and you know you're ready to keep rising, don't just stand on the sidelines. Join the movement. Hit that subscribe button, and be part of a community that's not just surviving, but dominating. Don't just stand on the sidelines. Hit that subscribe button and be part of a community that's not just surviving, but dominating. You've got some serious power. You know it, and they know it. But you're not just going to stand there. You're not going to let them keep you on the sidelines. You're going to join the movement. Hit that subscribe button. Be part of a community that's not just surviving, but dominating. Don't let these life-changing truths be the best-kept secret. Share them. Embrace them. Keep growing stronger. You've already defeated 97% of the demons. Now take your next step and claim your seat at the top. This is just the beginning. Subscribe now, and let's continue this journey of unstoppable power, truth, and growth together. God bless you.